If you didn't watch the last video, then you missed the biggest secret in the Old Testament. We discovered that God didn't command a random genocide in Canaan. Instead, we discovered that Joshua and David were actually hunting down the last of the Anakim, who were descendants of the Nephilim. But that reveal left us with a massive, impossible mystery. If God sent Noah's floods to wipe out these corrupted giants, how on earth did they survive to fight Joshua? To find out, we have to look at 4 words hidden in plain sight. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that. When the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, and the Nephilim didn't survive the flood, they were completely wiped out. But the fallen angels decided to make another attempt. They committed another insurrection, another attempt to corrupt human DNA. But why would these fallen angels risk another flood or another purge? And that's when we move into the devil's plan to destroy humanity. I have my Bible. To understand why Satan and his fallen angels decided to do this again, we have to go back to the beginning. In Genesis 3:15, and this is after God confronts Adam and Eve, after telling them not to eat the apple and falling for the devil's tricks. After that, God curses the serpent and gives the first prophecy of Jesus Christ. Let me go get the NIV. I'm just gonna go get my Bible. We're actually going to go to Genesis 3:14. So the Lord God said to the snake, because you have done this, you will crawl on your belly and you will eat dust all the days of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers. He will crush your head and you will strike his heel. God promised that a pure human born from the seed of a woman would destroy the devil. So after hearing God say that at the very beginning of the story, what was the devil's plan? I want to remind us all that the Bible doesn't have information about what happened when the angels fell or the rebellion of the angels. So it starts from Genesis, but already in Genesis, Satan is already going against God. So what was the devil's plan? So Satan's goal was to always deceive and create insecurities. Like I said before, he didn't want to just disobey God. He didn't want to just go to war with God. He wanted to destroy what God loved the most. If he could alter all human DNA, if he can pollute the human bloodline with the fallen angels, then the Messiah could not be born as a pure, sinless human. And by doing that, there is no Messiah. God's first prophecy wouldn't come true. And by doing that, that would question God's authority on many levels. And now I'm going to speak about the psychology of spiritual warfare. The devil's scheme or tactics or method of chaos is the same back then as he uses now, causing you to be unbalanced and causing you to question who God is or how powerful God is or why we should even believe or think about God. That is Satan's main goal. Actual scientific research going into cognitive psychology proves that when people are naive, misinformed, and entirely miss the foundational truth, they'll fall victim to something called the illusory truth effect. In Wikipedia, the illusory truth effect, also known as the illusion of truth effect, validity effect, truth effect, or the reiteration effect, is the tendency to believe false information to be correct after repeated exposure. The phenomenon was identified in a 1977 study at the Villanova University and Temple University. When truth is assessed, people rely on whether the information is in line with their understanding or if it feels familiar. The first condition is equal, as people compare new information with what they've already known to be true. Repetition makes statements easier to process relative to new, unrepeated statements, leading people to believe that the repeated conclusion is more truthful. The illusory truth effect has also been linked to hindsight bias, in which the recollection of confidence is skewed after the truth has been received. Let me put that in the video. Let me screenshot that. In a 2015 study, researchers discovered that familiarity can overpower rationality, and that repetitively hearing that a certain statement is wrong can paradoxically, why are there so many words I can't pronounce? after hearing that a statement is wrong, can paradoxically cause it to feel right. Researchers observe the illusory truth effect impact even on participants who knew the correct answer to begin with, but were persuaded to believe otherwise through repetition of a falsehood. To processing fluency. What is, okay. In cognitive psychology, processing fluency is the ease with which information is processed by the brain. It is commonly treated as a symptom of cognitive fluency, a term used to describe subjective experience of ease and difficulty associated with mental tasks like reading. Apparently, reading is not easy. Apparently, the illusory effect plays a significant role in fields such as advertising, news media, political propaganda, and religious indoctrination. Hold on, chat. Okay, let me screenshot that and save that. Okay, so that is why discernment is really important. If you cannot tell the difference between right and wrong, you're gonna read anything and believe it. And if it's misinformation, you're gonna automatically think that the other side is evil, is wrong, is stupid, unintelligent, misinformed, when you are the one that's misinformed. How can someone be misinformed when they've read scientific research in that subject? Has science ever been wrong? Have you ever encountered someone using false scientific research as their proof of enter whatever the discussion is? That is an example of lacking fundamental truths and not having discernment. So when we read things and people are lying or being misinformed about things, you should be aware of what's happening. When we read things that are based in logic, it is very important for you to do your own research on that same topic. Because when someone is telling you, hey, I've seen research about this, you have to be very careful, because that very research that they have seen might be false completely. It might have a negative stipulation, but it might have a negative foundation. It might even have an evil foundation behind it. Let's take, for example, abortion and Planned Parenthood. There's a lot of eugenics and fascism hidden inside of that Planned Parenthood topic. So when you're out there saying, hey, I'm fighting for something that's right, while also allowing a generation to be genocided before they're even born, that should make you think. Science can also mislead you. Be careful. Just because it has the label of scientific research doesn't mean it won't mislead you. Be careful. Anyways, let's continue. Without a solid anchor, the human brain will spiral into an echo chamber. We surround ourselves with lies that validate our feelings and emotions, and things that protect our insecurities, things that destroy unity and cause us to destroy each other. And we've seen that many times. As Christians, we call this lack of protection as being without the armor of God. Without that armor, without the belt, without the helmet, without the sword, the enemy can inject deceit. And I also want to mention another thing. The devil knows scripture, which is crazy. The devil knows the Bible better than you do because he's in the Bible. He reads that Bible. He's in that Bible. He lived the Bible. So he knows the Bible better than you do. Jesus made demons tremble, but he can't make you tremble. Why is that? You think you're better? Okay, let's not even add that. Which is also why so many people read the Bible and think God is a cruel dictator. We're so used to hearing misinformation about God that we see every evil in the Bible and assign it to God. That is not the case. God does not do evil. God is not out here just murdering children. God is not out here causing people to starve. No, that is the devil's work. God does not like that. God does not want that. God does not love that. That is the devil's work. But you're blaming terrible things on God when God is like, I didn't claim that shit. What the that's not me. I didn't do that. Why am I taking credit for something I didn't do? You wouldn't like that. So why are you doing that to God? Again, by doing that, you're not going to get any deeper than the surface level, and you're going to be blocking yourself from understanding the Bible. You're going to be missing the entire plot, like I said in the first video. So understanding the devil's plan to cause deceit and insecurity and to turn God's children away from him, that's his goal. And that was known before my time, before your time, before your grandma's time, before our time, because there are ancient texts that actually prove that this was widely understood. If you have a moment to do research, and I recommended this the last video, if you have time to look at the book of Enoch, or the Alexandrian Greek translation of the Old Testament used by the apostles, they translate sons of God literally as angels of God. It's literally like some high level war to corrupt the human genetics to stop the Messiah, who we know as Jesus Christ, from being born. Okay, so Joshua and David fought the Nephilim, the Anakim, to keep the bloodline clean. And because they succeeded thousands of years later, the Messiah was ready to be born. The devil's plan from the very beginning to corrupt human DNA failed. But the fallen angels, the power of darkness, did not give up. If they couldn't stop the Messiah before he was born, they would do anything to stop him as soon as he arrived. I want you to think about this. Mary lived safely in Nazareth, but right before she gave birth, she was forced to travel to Bethlehem. And almost immediately after giving birth, Joseph had a dream. And in that dream, he was warned and told to flee with them to Egypt, them being Mother Mary and the newborn baby Jesus. Why so much moving around and fleeing after giving birth to the Messiah? Well, there was a king who was paranoid, so manipulated by spiritual darkness that he ordered the massacre of every newborn baby boy. This wasn't just political jealousy. This was Satan's next desperate move in the Great Seed War. Who was the king? And how did God use his evil plan to fulfill the prophecy? We're gonna break down that mystery in the next video. Like, subscribe, and trust God over your own eyes. And I'll see you next time.